Solidworks 2006 Programming Interface 1 Human-Centered CAD Laboratory April 16, 2009 Seattle National University Computer Aided Design Open Courseware Lecture 12 Solidworks American Application Programming Interface 1. The goal of this course is to introduce you to SolidWorks 2006 Application Program Interface. Using SolidWorks Application Program Interface is a great way to automate routines. Just about everything is user leverage. Everything is a user leverage through a user interface available for the Application Program Interface. Course description, course design philosophy. This course is designed around a process and task-based approach to training. Rather than focus on the individual features and functions, process-based training course emphasizes the process procedural file to complete a particular task. Getting started. For foreign students, SolidWorks can be run in English mode. How to change SolidWorks language option, and then it shows getting started. For foreign students, Visual Basic Net Editor will be seen in Korean mode. Microsoft Windows XP Korean Edition. You can solve the problem of changing some of the languages options in Windows XP. First click. Obviously, the next entire process will be shown. So it shows getting started and continued. It's in Korean. Get started. If you change Windows non-Unicode program language option, you shall pay attention to the name of the objects in SolidWorks. If you use SolidWorks in English mode, If you use SolidWorks in English mode, you had better to modify objects names in English. You must change the followings in English if you change the non-Unicode program language. Getting started. A few things to note. File types in SolidWorks. Macro files we will create our type SolidWorks VAB macros. SolidWorks SWP. The basic Visual Basic Net. These files are necessary project files, VBP, class files, CLS, resource files, and dynamic library, link library files. Option explicit. It is strongly recommended that you use the option explicit statement of the Visual Basic development that forces declaration of variables before use. By doing so, Visual Basics allows you to use error and type checking when debugging applications. A few things to note: how to set option explicit function with a Visual Basic editor. Tools option editor code setting require variable to declaration, and that will bring you go to tools and then you go to options. If you require variable declaration macros option explicit. Getting started. Continue. Variables are used to store temporary values during the execution of an application. Variables are made of two parts: name and date type. Name and data type. You declare whether the variable is a dimension statement. Supply the name of the variable, the dimension variable, the name as data type. The optional as a data type clause for the dimension statement allows you to define the data type of the object of the variable as examples are follow. Dimension SolidWorks application as object, generic object. Dimensions SolidWorks app as SolidWorks solid.lsdorx, specific object. Dimensions DV array as DV array 2 as double, sets up 3 doubles. Getting started. Continuing. SolidWorks constraints. SWCONSTABAS. SolidWorks constants. SolidWorks constants. CAWCONST. BAS. SolidWorks Application Program Interface Development. You should add the SolidWorks constant file to each of the end project and macro. In Visual Basic, select Project Add Module. Under this existing tab, browse the location for the file is installed in SolidWorks Installation Directory. SolidWorks Sample Application Com as SW Common Application Common SolidWorks Constants BAS. The file provision provides definitions of the SolidWorks Application Program Interface functions. When you make your macro file by macro recording method, which is used in this course, you do not need to mind this work. Getting started. SolidWorks 2006 type of the library. Visual Basic program is a hand for creating objects with the type of the library interface types rather than a generic object type. In order to do leverage this, we add references to SolidWorks 2006 type library as you conveyancy with the macro order. We'll do this by default. To make sure the reference is made in the Visual Basics auditor, click Tools Reference option. SolidWorks 2006 type library. You should be should be checked, and it shows SolidWorks type library, and it gives the location in the reference test. SolidWorks 2006 type library continued. If it's not checked, browse its location. Install with SolidWorks installation. SolidWorks TLB or library type library. File contains exposed object properties method available to SolidWorks automation. When type of the library is referenced with the drop down list after the dot separated before known as the IntelSense will display SolidWorks object properties methods from the programming can use. Early versus late binding. Binding is a simple verification process of Visual Basics, usually search through the object type library. In our case, SolidWorks 2006 type library. Make sure an object exists, that any properties or methods used with it are correctly specified. There are two types of binding. Late binding, dimensions SolidWorks application as object, dimension SolidWorks model as object, sub main set SolidWorks object equals application SolidWorks set SolidWorks model equals SolidWorks app active doc, and sub early binding, dimension SolidWorks app as SolidWorks dimension SolidWorks model as SolidWorks model doc 2, sub main set SolidWorks app as application SolidWorks model as SolidWorks app active document and stuff. It's best to use early binding because it makes your code more efficient and your application faster. Using a macro recorder. Macro recording. You can record operations performed in SolidWorks using interface. Replace them with SolidWorks macros. A macro contains the calls to the application program interface that are equivalent to the operation performed. The user interface. A macro can record mouse clicks, menu choices, and keystrokes. A macro toolbar contains shortcuts to macro recording commands. You can also access the commands with the tools and macro menu. Using macro, continue. Macro toolbar. By default, macro toolbar is turned off. To create use of your macros, it's best to use the dock of the macro toolbar at the top of the SolidWorks window. From View menu, select Tools, Bars, Macro, and show the little macro menu is on, pause, document right up, and play. First, try to make your own macro. Start SolidWorks, create a new part, view the macro toolbar, click Record button, select the front pane. First, trying to make your own macro, click Sketch, and first try to make your own macro. Continue, click Sketch, and click the circle. Use approximately a radius of 40 millimeters. Enter the exact value, 40 millimeters, on the Property Manager. First, try to make your own macro. Click Extrude Boss. Drag the extruded path across 15 millimeters, then enter the exact value with the 15 millimeters in the Property Manager. Click OK. Click Stop. First, try to make your own macro. Continue. Save macro is save dialog. Save the macro as macro1 SWP. Delete all features. Delete all the features. Remove the extruded base in the sketch previously. Click play and select macro1 SP for the previous step. Automation review. Click 1. Select the plane. 2. Click sketch command. 3. Click circle command. Click 4. Center of the circle, click 5, approximate 40-minute radius, keyboard entry, exact radius 40 millimeters, click 6, OK button, click 7, extrude boss and base function, click 8, approximately 15 millimeter depth and extrusion, keyboard entry 2, exact depth, 15 millimeter, click 9, OK button. Using macro recorder, continue, Visual Basic application editor, click the edit button and macro toolbar, select macro 1SP, opens a macro file for editing in the corner of your macro button, and then you can edit the macro, and it shows a table right there. Understanding how macro code works, variable declaration. Macro record declares or dimension. Macro record records and declares dimensions of the number of variables of the default. You can comment out and delete variables not utilized in the entry point procedure. So your option explicit macro, you have the dimension switch I as object dimension as part object dimension as a solid cell manager as object bowl status as boolean, and dimension long status as long warnings as long, dimension feeders are as object. Understanding how macro code works, entry point procedure. The beginning of our functionality, every macro must establish an entry point procedure, a submain. SolidWorks application object. The line code will start with the instance SolidWorks or connect with the running instance SolidWorks, running instance of SolidWorks. Without it, your program will not. Set SolidWorks app application SolidWorks documentation object. In order to use the work with the application top level, the document objects assessed with made active. This allows the ability to program document specific functionality. See the set part equals SolidWorks app active document. Understanding how macro code works, SolidWorks application program interface calls API. The application program interface calls allows the macro to perform certain tasks. This is where we see our recorded steps taking shape. Select the plane and select the sketch circle, creating a circle extended to feature, and then we've done the cell manager boot stats, insert sketch, clear section 2, created circle, show name trimetric, clear section true, boot status part, sketch segment, and part feature management, extrusion, part select manager, enable, and procedure end sub. Understanding how to call methods. SolidWorks object declared as SW app may be the default. The highest level of the object of SolidWorks application program interface is assessed by implementing the following lines. Mention SolidWorks app as object. Set SolidWorks app to application SolidWorks. SolidWorks. The document object of part document part is assessed by implementing the following lines called for the property on application of the object. So application of SolidWorks returns to SWAP, and the document object is .active document. Understanding how call methods continued. Once the application document object set with the events property of the method of these objects called to access the function, the object name is written first, then separated by a period, and then followed by the full name of the application program interface called true. Some of the application program interfaces require additional parameters per circle, part created circle. Understanding how to call methods continues. See application program interface required additional objects such as the part feature management. See that application program interface utilizes return values as a bool status called retrieval in the AIP American application program interface help file. Passing parameters, feature manager to feature extrusion. It shows the blue is in the little feature manager feature extrusion, and then it shows the blue is your feature extrusions. Parameter details. Let's see SolidWorks 2006 Application Program Interface Help. Click Help SolidWorks Application Program Interface Help Topics. The file is located in Installation Directory SolidWorks Language Application Program Interface Help CHM. Using macro record or continue. Clean up the native macro code. Lines red can be deleted unnecessary. It can be undeleted. They are unnecessary. Lines blue can be modified. Better application program interface calls for they exist. So we have a created circle. The reds would be cell manager object, long status, the feature object, cell manager, part selection, show name, clear selection, part extension, sketch segment, part selection manager. Cleaning up native macro code. Never be satisfied with the result of the SolidWorks macro with the record returns. Always do the improve the cleanup of the record your code. You can use the online application program interface help file with the SolidWorks to search the new with improve the just alternative of the application program interface calls out for our needs. This is another way to create a circle. Create a circle requires 6 parameters: XC, YC, ZC, XP, YP, ZP. This method creates a circle based on a center point and a point on the circle. Based on a center point and a point on the circle. This is not exact what we are performed with the user interface. We can replace the function create circle by radius 2. Only requires parameters x circle, y circle, z circle, radius. Adding forms a macro. One of the easiest way to get someone to launch your code is to add a form called user form VBA to the macro. So you go to insert user form. Where you find it, the VBA, it clicks insert in Visual Basic Auditor, it clicks insert in user form. VBA with the Project Explorer window, right click the macro, insert the user form. The VBA text box is displayed along with the form by the default and does not appear. Click View Toolbox. Using macro record, continue adding form to the macro. The VBA, click Insert User Form. Edit form properties. With the form highlighted, enter the following property values. User form name. Form macro 1A caption. Cylinder show module false startup position 2 center screen, and it shows the different properties of the macro 1A and your form your user form macro recorder. Using macro recorder, continue additional controls form from the toolbox. Drag down one label and 5 commands from the toolbox. Drag and drop one label, 5 commands onto the form. The following as the guide for each control. Command button 1, command button 2, command button 3, 4 from 5, and then 5 would be command exit, 100 millimeters, 500 millimeters, 1 millimeter, 5 millimeter, caption command button, extrude cylinders, and it shows the 5 different buttons on the side, 5 commands. Add click event to each button. Double click each button, control setup, empty click, event procedure. The VBA auditor automatically adds the necessary entry point into each event. Move code from module to buttons. At this point, entry of the macro file should contain one of the module 1 form. We want to keep both, but move the code to different locations. Cut everything within the module, leaving only but the empty entry point procedure, submain, and end sub. Paste the code in the click event with each of the command except for the X button. Look closely at the code. Only one parameter shown in bold is changed to the account for a different extrusion depths of each button. Using macro recorder continued. Move code module to the buttons continued. Private sub command 100 millimeter click. And then you have dimension swap object, part object, and bolding status as bold. Lean connect SolidWorks apps, application SolidWorks app, active document, creating cylinder front page, bold status part extension, select by ID, false, nothing, insert sketch, created circle radius by 2, feature range, feature extrusion, and values, and then the end sub. So we have it here, we have the move code to the module buttons continued 100 millimeters. Move code to module buttons 50 millimeters, 500 millimeters, 1 meter, 5 meters. Programming the exact button to allow the user to terminate the macro. Private sub command exit click and sub. Add code to the module. Switch back to the module in order to have macro run. The SolidWorks entry point procedure for the module needs to show the user form. Enter the following line of code. Submain form macro 1A show. Save and run the macro. Save the macro with the SolidWorks. Open a new part with the file created for the macro, either the macro toolbar or from the Visual Basic Auditor editor. Exit macro. Click exit button to end the macro. Return the Visual Basic Auditor. Using macro recorder continued. As second form, we click insert user form, enter the following property values. Next page, as the user interact control second form, capture the input user. We add text box controls that ask the user to specify the depth of the diameter rather than hard coding the values. Drag and drop necessary label text boxes and command buttons onto the form of the macro 1B using following as the guide for each control. Continue. Use form 1, name, caption, startup, position, and show model. Text box 1 would be the text diameter, text leave blank. Text box 2, text depth leave blank. Command button name 1, command build, and command button 2, command exit. Custom cylinder Custom cylinder macro recorder. Add a code for each button. You want each string value with the text button with the converter with a double value with the diameter and the depth. Make the copy of the working code I already have with one over the buttons of the form macro 1A. Paste and click an event with a command build of the form macro 1B. Then make adjustments to the code. And show the build. Make adjustments for the diameter text and depth. Show the private sub. Continue on the next page. Add code to each button. Connect to SolidWorks. Build, diameter, and build. Also remember the program exit to terminate the macro end. Modify code of the module in order for the macro to show user form of the macro 1B instead of the macro 1A. Entry point procedure on the module needs to show user form macro 1B. Save and run the macro. The diameter is depth of 50, the diameter of 10, exit macro. SolidWorks application program interface object following diagram general description of SolidWorks application program interface. And that goes from SolidWorks into SolidWorks environment frame attributed modular SolidWorks property sheet module document part document summary document drawing document. And then from the far left, the drawing document feature annotation feature menu module dimension sketch design table attributed selection manager layer measure layer configuration model doc extension configuration manager module view manager. Other objects would be parameter etny numbered bodies and numbered co-edges and numbered faces, numbered edges, and numbered document and numbered loops components to direct sketches, sketches, hatches, sketch points, segments, and display dimension and enumerated model views. Alright, SolidWorks API object model continues. SolidWorks object, SolidWorks app. SolidWorks objects declared SolidWorks app by default. The highest level of the object SolidWorks provides access to all the other objects exposed in the application program interface, also referred to as the interface, provides a general set of functions that allow the application level operations using the following two lines of code to connect the SolidWorks option. Dimension SolidWorks as SolidWorks as SolidWorks. Set SolidWorks app to equal application SolidWorks. The variable of the SolidWorks app that arbitrarily declared using generic type object rather than specific type of SolidWorks. This discussed earlier versus later, but late binding previously with a better practice of the early binding techniques of the program and the SolidWorks application program interface. Alright, SolidWorks method of the properties, new documents, template name, paper size, width, height, page revision, display status, SolidWorks Explorer, open document file type, name, option, figure errors, warnings, load files, file name, argument, string, import data, create new ideas, rearrange windows, active document 2, new silent errors, close document, quit document, exit applicant, document visible type, send message to user, message icon, and buttons. Model document 2 object for the contained with the function of the comment of all three document types, parts, assembly, and drawings using the following method of the SolidWorks object known as the accessors to connect with the model 2 to the object. Option 1 dimension SolidWorks model with the SolidWorks model document 2. Set the SolidWorks model with the SolidWorks app active with document. Option 2 dimension SolidWorks model with the document 2. Set SolidWorks model as SolidWorks app the new document template name, paper size, width, and height. Dimension SolidWorks model is a SolidWorks model document. Set SolidWorks model as SolidWorks app option document file name type option configuration errors and warnings. Model document 2 method properties insert sketch 2 updated to edit rebuild insert family table new insert notes set to alright 1 minute set toolbar visibility add custom info create circles first edit 3 feature manager insert feature shell save as 4 name version option error warnings view zoom to fit. Document object part assembly drawing of the document object derived with the model document 2, therefore have the access the function residing in the module document 2 with the connect with the document object using one of the following model document accessor perform simple error check to validate the file type. Part document parts and properties edit rollback material property values create a new body mirror part assembly method properties add component add mate add insert new part total check interference draw the drawing documents. Method and properties get first view, insert model and annotations, new sheet 3, and that was the end. This was SolidWorks 2006 Application Program Interface 1.